Hello, welcome to the Everyday Players FPL. My name's Matthew. My co-host here, Tony, the secret author Buxton.
Good
And
morning.
last year's league runner-up, my brother Ryan Shan.
Yep, nice to see you all.
Yeah. So what happened with that? Last season, how did it all go?
I think as a whole it went pretty well for me. I think the majority of the season I was more or less up there, sort of floating around the top 8. And then obviously post-COVID, in the mini league, I think I was top for more or less the full 7-8 weeks, and then just lost to Steen in the final, unfortunately. Yeah.
See as well of all people.
I know.
Yeah,
Well,
that was it. I think he just had your number, didn't he?
I know. Well, he was the only one who beat me as well in the actually in the normal league, and then for him to beat me again, I mean, I did sort of fancy my chances as well, but then I think I think I was never actually winning the game. He was always winning. Probably deserved to win that match, definitely.
That's it. And for those of you that don't know, mainly we do play the Classic League, but we have a little head-to-head. For the first 35 weeks, you have to get in the top 8, and it makes like a playoffs, makes it exciting. Quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals. Obviously, with COVID, we had to split it off for the top 10. Top 2 made the final. That was you, Ryan, and our friend Steve, won. With that little bit of luck, you got Mara's assist, and I guess, that's the beauty of the game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of the game.
I was going to say, because I was a little bit annoyed with that assist. I mean, I don't know what the official FPL rules are for assists and stuff like that, but for me, I think it was like a block shot or something, completely spun the other way to De Bruyne. And I mean, last minute as well, I was a little bit gutted about that, but I suppose it's the way it goes, isn't it?
Yeah, it was absolutely shocking, I thought. Like, you got done in the worst way possible there.
It's the fact that the ball actually went a complete other way. It wasn't even just like went in his path or anything like that. It was a complete block shot and it went behind him.
Yeah, very generous, wasn't it?
Absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
Could have had all that money.
Anyway, start of the new season, isn't it, today? So, a couple of hours, it all begins again. We've all got that optimism at the start. How are you feeling going into the season? What do you think of, and the teams? Everyone keeps saying, the teams are expensive and it's quite hard to get everyone in. They made Aubameyang a midfielder. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I've been tinkering around as everyone does, really. Obviously, the change of position and stuff like that, and it's quite interesting to see. Salah and Mane both the same price, so it's just you pick one or the other. I think in previous years, obviously, everyone's went for Salah as a whole, or well, possibly Mane, obviously because he's cheaper. But with them being the same price, I think probably more people will choose Salah over Mane. I think Aubameyang could be a popular choice this year, with obviously scoring I think 22 last season, and then the fact that he'll be getting 5 points instead of 4. For a midfielder, I think he could be a popular choice.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are tending to sway towards Aubameyang, and I think it's quite clever of the, the creators of the game. They thought, oh, you know what, we're going to put him as a midfielder. Just a bit of variation in people's teams, isn't it? Normally, everyone gets Salah, Mane, Sterling, De Bruyne. Gives that extra option in midfield. Now Aubameyang's going to get 5 points from there. What do you think, Tony? Have you gone for Aubameyang or?
100%. He's an absolute must, isn't he, at the start? With the fixtures that have been taken out as well, Kevin De Bruyne out, Bruno Fernandes out the first week. Aubameyang's an absolute must. Against West Ham and Fulham, captain him, he's going to get your points straight away.
I think as well that obviously the back end of last season, the FA Cup, I think he scored in the FA Cup final, semi-final as well, I think, and then Community Shield this, the start of this season. So he's taken that momentum. He'll probably, hopefully take it into the start of this season as well.
Yeah, but he's just so expensive, isn't he? If he drops out of form and you can't afford to take a minus, it could cripple later on.
Yeah, I think a lot of people's dilemma as well is that obviously if you've got Aubameyang, then do you get Salah as well? Because then that's 24 million You know, it's
Yeah.
quite a lot of money.
Yeah.
People are downgrading one to get a better overall squad, you know, possibly.
And that's it. I mean, when I've seen on Twitter, quite a lot of teams have got Aubameyang and Salah. Don't get me wrong, they will get points, you know, at the end of the year. But then you're looking at the third midfielders and the fourth midfielders, you know, it tends to be like 5.5, like St. Maximin, and then, you know, one middle of the road, maybe like a, you know, Ziyech, Greenwood, Havertz, like somewhere in that price range. It does, you know, tend to weak in other areas. It's finding that balance, really.
Yeah, because I think to the start, my very first draft, I did have them both in, and I was pretty much set on that for a good few weeks, and then I started tinkering around with it a bit more, and in the end, yeah, I've actually taken Salah out, which is quite unusual for me. I'm always a big Salah man. I think he's an absolute must usually. But
He's got a hat trick against Leeds written all over him. Get him back. Get him back.
Yeah, well, I even sort of want him for this first week, but I can't sort of. It doesn't go with my plans anymore, so I'm just gonna have to close out him, and then if he does start hitting form, I've just changed him straight for Aubameyang anyway, really. So it's just
it is tinkering with your team, and you know now we've gone on to that. This is your team that you're set, isn't it, for game week 1, Ryan?
Yeah, so that's my team. Obviously, without Man City and Man U playing, obviously, you know, Charlie Taylor, Burnley as well. Yeah, so I've got Greenwood on the bench there. You know, I think I do want Bruno Fernandes. I've got money in the bank, so I'll upgrade either Son or Ali. I'll upgrade him for Bruno Fernandes more than likely, and then my plan is probably possibly to get De Bruyne game week 3. I think that obviously they play Wolves game 2. Arsenal have two decent fixtures to start, so it depends on how Aubameyang does. That's what I'll do. I always don't like to spend too much money at the back, to be honest. I just think as a whole,
takes up a chunk of that, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think as a whole, I just don't get as much. I think obviously Alexander-Arnold for me was absolute must, but I think last season out of the top 15 point scorers, only 3 of them were defenders. So I think it just shows like as a whole, I think 7 midfielders and then the other 5 was top strikers. So I like to sort of pack the money in the midfield and, you know, the forward line.
Lewis is a great shout, to be fair. With him just signing, I sort of like didn't really think about that. But I was like talking about the transfer and stuff. He's quite pacey and he gets up there. He could get a good couple of assists this year if he's starting all the time, which I'm pretty sure he's going to be, isn't he?
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. I thought, you know, I think Newcastle, on the whole, are not bad. They don't concede too many, especially at home. But I was quite surprised that he's actually didn't get any assists last year, Lewis. He got 1 goal. And I think it might have been against...
It's Leicester,
I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But considering who he was playing for, they were absolutely clueless up top, weren't they? Like, in a better team like Newcastle, he's surely going to get some points on the board.
I think he should get a bit more, you know.
With Wilson up there now as well.
Yeah,
in the box.
Exactly. You know,
he's going to fly him in.
Yeah. And
Not even copy, actually.
I've got Mitchell as well. It was I think it's been starting all the pre-season games left back. I think Van Arnold's out with a shoulder injury still, so I think he'll be just like a short-term player. But I mean, even after this game week, he might go on the bench. You know, probably Charlie Taylor will come in.
I think with that Mitchell, he's just, you know, he's been tipped 4.0 million.
Yeah,
you don't have to play him all the time. It was Mitchell or that Nathan Ferguson. Obviously, Ferguson picked up a bit of a knock in the friendlies, so because of that, a lot of players have gone towards Mitchell. Yeah. But he's just a good option on the bench. I think, you know, he will play today. He will start.
Yeah.
Because that was a difficulty, obviously, Man City, Man U. Obviously, you got Villa and Burnley missing games as well. You know, it was a fear of playing with like less than 11 players. But,
yeah.
You know, so you do think he's going to play today. And,
yeah.
You know,
I think the main thing for me this game week was to make sure I've got 11 people playing, and then also to have a plan for next game week that it'll be the strongest team possible. So I've took a bit of a punt, to be honest, with Dele Alli. It was sort of between him and maybe Havertz of who to get, but I've sort of just went. He does go through some patches where he play quite well, so I've just took a little bit of a punt on him.
Do you know what? I've actually matched that as well. I've gone for Dele Alli. He's just a short-term fix for game week 1.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole season, I'm not going to have him. But what happened because of the Man City Man U not playing? I had Stuart Armstrong in there, who I think, it's 5.5. He'd get a few assists and goals. He's cheap. But then I found out a couple of days ago, obviously, he got injured, and I was like, oh no, what am I going to do here? So I haven't put too much thought into it. I toyed with Willian. Another one was Ryan Fraser, I thought, for game week 1 and then get him out. But I think I've left it on Ali now.
I think I've just sort of my gut sort of said Ali, and I've tried not to think about it too much. It was between him and Havertz, as I say, but I've just tried to
Dele Alli, what the man are we using on?
It'll only be one game week anyway, so hopefully.
I think that Spurs documentary, I think we're like, you know what, he can do it. Mourinho's got it.
Yeah. I mean, when Mourinho took over, he was in some good form, wasn't he? So hopefully he'll do the business for this game week anyway.
No, that's fine. And now obviously we'll go on to Tony's team. So you've got a team you showed me for game week 1 and then what you're going to change to with game week 2. Is that right?
Yeah. So this one you're showing now is what I'm starting with. Like we were discussing earlier with the Aubameyang and Salah standing in. See, with Aubameyang, he's got to come out for me because I need Fernandes and De Bruyne. Absolute busts, even over him and his price and that as well. But with Salah, he's going to stay a few more weeks, I think, because of the De Bruyne with City playing Wolves. Can't see him getting too many points until game week 3. So that's what I'm starting with anyway.
Yeah, it's
right.
Fantasy, isn't it, really? Wolves quite a good team. So I think quite a lot of people might bring De Bruyne in the 3rd game week as well. Similar to what
definitely.
See, that's the thing, but he's a little bit of a conundrum then. What happens if Salah and Aubameyang do really well the first 2 weeks?
What do you make the plan?
With your game plan, or do you scrap it and say, no, this is what I was going to do?
No, I'm going to be sticking with the game plan. I'm a huge fan of Fernandes. I think he's an absolute god, man. And I'm definitely going to have to stick with it. Definitely.
I think it's one of them things, isn't it, like Fantasy League, where what you plan to do and what you plan to do in a few weeks, but then you sometimes get emotion, gets in the way, and then you get short-term memory, someone doesn't do well or someone doesn't do well, and you get a bit hesitant to go ahead with that plans. But
I've been known to be a little bit drastic with my transfers in the past seasons, but I'm changed man this year. Very patient. Know what I'm doing. I'm going out there. I'm ready. It's man this year. Easy.
Yeah. Well, funny you should mention that. You've got a reputation of flying out of the blocks. August to September, October, best player in the league, and then you do one game, and then it's an avalanche of bad results. And
hey, I have feelings, Come on.
So what's the triggering point for you, Tony? Is it losing 2 or 3 games in a row, and then do you think, oh, you know what, scrap it? Or
yeah, I fall out with the players, man. It just falls apart. I can't not be top. If I'm not top, everyone's getting kicked out. It's getting rebuilt.
Right. So yeah, quite a bit of a hothead, like a South American hothead type.
That's the old me. Like I say, I'm a new man. I'm reborn this year. I've put so much time. I'm sat there in bed. I'm not going to bed till midnight. I'm a fantasy prem. I'm ready.
Right.
New year.
So what started about this, Wilson up front then? Double Newcastle, Wilson and Fraser.
I know. See, I've gone with it because of the partnership they've had at Bournemouth. Obviously, not so much last year, but the previous seasons. I think they're just going to get loads of points, and they're a cheap option. It allows me to spend more money, so I can have Havertz and Rodriguez and stuff like that. But it's a risk in it. But they're cheap and nasty.
Yeah, that's another guy, James Rodriguez. debut season in the Premier League. You know, obviously
Yeah,
had a fabulous 2014 World Cup. What are we thinking with this one? Like, because he is a really good player.
yeah.
With goals and assists. You know, I mean, to be honest, he is moderately priced 7.5.
Mm.
So even if you do get him, you can still afford to get like bigger players, and it does allow you room elsewhere.
Yeah, it's a bit of a punt, but I just don't see much quality in Everton's squad. I think if the goals and assists are going to come, it's going to be from him if he's playing all the time. That's what I think. But it is a punt. It's a risk. But he can easily be replaced very easily, can't he?
Yeah, exactly. What do you think about that, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's different. I'm quite like a bit of a safe player, to be honest. I think Rodriguez, yeah, obviously, you know, adapting to the Premier League sometimes it can take quite a while. So to go in straight away is quite risky. I mean, you know, it could definitely pay off, but I like to just hold out for a few weeks and then sort of just see how they go first, and then sort of go from there. Do you think Havertz will do well as well, do you, Tony?
Yeah, I'm a fan. Quite excited by his that transfer story. But
Yeah. I mean,
we don't really know with players like this, do we?
yeah. I
In
mean,
this league, stuff like that. But yeah, I have confidence in Havertz, I do.
yeah, it's got
I started.
scored 12 goals last season, and then 17 the season before that, and you know, in a good Bundesliga. So, you know, he has got it in him. But obviously, you know, again, he could take a while to adapt. He might not. He might just come good straight away. So
Yeah.
Well, that's it. I think
confidence.
we expect big things from Chelsea, aren't they, this year? All the signings that
They've got to give us a good season here. Like the signings they've made are incredible, man. The squad is lethal. Like they can really go for it. I've put my money on them in my little side bets. I really fancy them.
I'm still a little bit. Yeah, I think that will definitely be better. But to get that jump to the next City and Liverpool, I still think they've got quite. You know, I could be wrong, but they've got quite a gap to get through there.
Yeah. I agree, but it is possible. But
I think you've got to have at least one Chelsea. Well, I'm pretty sure that everyone's got at least one Chelsea player in there, because the amount of firepower they've got now, I think it'd be daft if you didn't.
Yeah, they're going to be absolutely lethal. I can see Werner getting off the match straight away as well.
Yeah, and I think we've all agreed on having Werner in our team, haven't we?
Yeah.
From the start. That striker that we're going for, the premium one. Obviously, I'll show you my team now. This is for game week 1. So that's it. I've gone for Salah as captain. And, you know, like yourself, with Man City and Man U not playing, I thought, you know what, I'll go for the safe option. Salah at home, captain him. Like I was saying to you, Ryan, I've gone for Ali. Now Armstrong's injured.
Yeah.
But both of them are due to come out for Bruno and Kevin De Bruyne, because that's who I'm going for this year. Let me just show you here.
It's a similar team to mine, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. We must have similar thinking, I think.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Another big call, actually, that you may not have noticed what I've done. I've dropped Trent for Robbo.
Right, yeah.
Just to save an extra bit of cash. What's the difference between them? Is it 0.5? Is that the difference in the price?
Yeah.
0.5, isn't it? So have you upgraded someone with that 0.5, or have you just kept it in the bank for future transfers, sort of thing?
It was a Wolves defender. So I had a bit of a change, actually, because what happened, I showed you Marcel.
Yeah.
Fernando Marcel, didn't I, the other day?
Yeah.
I checked his stats this morning on Transfer Market, and he wasn't playing all the time. So I was like, I'm just going to go for the safe option, go for size.
Yeah, I think it's always best to go for the safe option.
That was it. It was what all the FPL tipsters were going towards. It was Vinagre. So it was Vinagre and Trent. But then, with Vinagre, was he definitely nailed on to start? I couldn't guarantee that. So I thought, I'm just going to upgrade him to size, and I'll take Trent out for Robertson.
Yeah, and I think Vinagre's been linked with a move away as well, hasn't he? So
yeah, so
I mean, after a few
Porto.
Yeah, I think it's Porto. Yeah.
So that's what my thinking was behind it. I thought, instead of getting like a 7.5 and a 4.5 defender, I've just gone 7 and 5. So I know size will play, he'll start. He'll keep clean sheets
Yeah, very
throughout the whole season. Robertson, he might not get as much attacking returns as Trent, but you know what? I was impressed with him after lockdown because he looked more of a threat then. Even in the Community Shield, he looked like their biggest threat down the left, whipping balls in.
Yeah, definitely.
So I thought, you know what? I'll just go for him. I want that strong midfield because initially I was going to have Greenwood instead of Havertz. Obviously, once Chelsea have now bought Havertz, he's an extra $1 million. But I've then had to downgrade and get rid of Trent from there.
Yeah. And then Thomas Souček as well. Do you fancy his chances this season?
Well, that's it. He's been tipped as like the new Fellaini, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He scored 3 the back end of last season.
Yeah, 3 and 13, and then before that is at Slavia Prague, and he scored 8 and got 3 assists in 17 games. So pretty good going for someone who's like a centre defensive midfielder.
Yeah, he's meant to be a defensive midfielder, and I checked his Wikipedia. I think he had like 31 goals in like 130 games or something like that, which isn't bad for a centre defensive midfielder.
Yeah, I think he gets in the box. He's like an aerial presence. I think he's like 6'4", something like that. Probably get in the end of some corners, crosses. So yeah, I think he'll be good this season as well.
He could rack up a few points, considering it's a cheaper option, like you say, lets you strengthen other areas when he hasn't got bad stats, has he? So he could actually be a little valuable asset, if I'm honest.
Yeah, well, for me, I think for maybe a lot of people as well, he was like probably the best option for 5 million, but it was either that or then upgrade to 5.5 and get maybe like Saint Maximin. But it's just whether you can get that 0.5 million, and obviously you always want more money, and you just don't quite have enough to get the team exactly how you want it, do you?
Yeah, I think everyone struggled with that this year.
Yeah, everyone's shot up. It's like everyone's gone up in price. It made it a little bit more difficult to get like the team that you want.
Yeah, I
Players
think
that were like just a few quid have just gone through the roof straight away.
Yeah, I think the thing what I noticed most is that usually I don't like spending much money on keepers at all. I don't think particularly that much. I always spend 4.5, and I think this year there was only maybe 2 or 3 options at 4.5. I think obviously I've got Ryan. I think there's
Johnson, West Brom.
Johnson, West Brom. So
yeah, I went for Ryan in the end, like 4.5, like pretty cheap, and he's really good at how many saves he gets.
Options in that. Like the majority were like 5 million, and I don't know.
Yeah, well, it was like Nick Pope, obviously the highest scoring keeper last year.
Yeah.
He's now jumped up from 4.5 to 5.5.
Yeah.
Which is expensive, and even though Burnley do keep clean sheets and he makes a lot of saves, you're thinking, that is a lot.
It's a massive jump.
Burnley.
The fact that Ben Mee's injured as well, I think he's injured for quite a while. I mean, it could affect the Burnley defence. So I think 1 million was quite, a big jump, and I just think I couldn't get him for that. But I also think you can sort of cancel it out in a way. That's why I've got Charlie Taylor in there, 4.5 million for a Burnley defence. They keep clean sheets. It's like a cheaper alternative than getting Nick Pope for an extra $1 million. He might get you a few more bonus points, potentially, but at least Charlie Taylor, he could get a few assists, but he'll get the same clean sheet as what Nick Pope will anyway.
Yeah, that's it. I had him last year. I plan to have him this year, to be honest, but because they missed game week 1, I thought, I'm just going to have to leave him because I need 11 now.
Well, who's that?
Charlie Taylor.
Right.
Because they missed game week 1, I went for Justin. I think Justin will play. He's in a Leicester team that'll keep clean sheets, but only until October. That's the thing with Pereira then coming back.
Yeah.
Really get game time. And with Taylor, I think I'll get him in, but it's immediate transfer.
I think at the minute Justin's quite a popular choice. Obviously, playing for a good Leicester team, he is quite a cheap option to have. He may be short term, like till October, like you say, but even so, you can still 10, 15 games out of that or something like that, and then it's so far in the future. Then you can decide. You cross that bridge when you come to it, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Well, for this season, who are we tipping then? Who's going to be big? what we'll do, obviously, we'll just discuss a few things. Then Tony, the self-proclaimed, expert of tipping the next big thing, we'll let you tip 3 people, and then after 5 weeks, me and Ryan will judge, if they're a hit or a bust.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
from there, who do you think will be? Who's going to have a big year, basically? Who's going to be a surprise package?
A player, right, that I don't think many people are going to get, especially not straight away, is Willian. If he starts playing, I think he's going to do really well, mate. How much he come alive at the back end of last season. If he pushes Pepe out the team, which I'm pretty sure he will, he's going to be quite good. I'm definitely debating getting him in after about 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
8 mil as well, quite cheap.
Yeah, it's pretty good. He just go through good patches of form, William, doesn't he? Where he starts bagging.
But I am a fan. I am a fan of him, and I really can see him doing.
Yeah, I've been a fan of him in the past, but as I say, it's just the rotation. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, that's it. You just mentioned
at the minute.
Just mentioned in Tony, Pepe and Willian. They're going to be on the same side. Will they get rotated? That's the only thing.
Obviously, it's a possibility. And if that is happening, he's not going to be worth having. You don't want to be spending money in your midfield on players that aren't going to be playing all the time.
Yeah, I think you can
play him regularly. He'll be on my side 100%.
Yeah, I think you can sort of wait a few game weeks, and then once Arteta puts a team out, it might be towards a settled team after a few weeks. You might start notice the pattern. You might start playing. You might do well, and then you can obviously latch onto him while his price is reasonably low.
Yeah. It'll probably fly up once he starts banging in goals and assists and stuff, won't he? So
definitely.
If you're going to get him, you're going to have to take a little bit of a risk about a month in there and hope it pays off. If not, you get shot.
So what are you thinking, Ryan? Who are you tipping for a big year?
Well, obviously we've mentioned Thomas Souček. I think he's a very good a good budget player if you think of it that way. Obviously, Timo Werner. I think that he's the second most popular choice, but
player, isn't he?
He's going to smash it. He's going to absolutely
49% ownership he has.
Yeah, I do expect him to have a good year. I mean, 28 goals last season, 34 matches. I mean, he was only behind Lewandowski, and I think the third top scorer was Sancho with 17. So, I mean, he was scoring for fun in an attacking Chelsea team. I think he'll have a good year.
Do you think he'll fly straight out? I personally think he's going to straight away bag goals, but do you think it's going to take him a few weeks, or do you reckon he's going to be straight in there?
He might adapt quite quick, actually. I think obviously pre-season he actually scored against Brighton. He scored for Germany against Spain, was it, in the Nations League? And I think his game sort of suits the Premier League. The Bundesliga is probably the most similar. In a way, he's quick. Yeah, so I do think hopefully he'll take quite quick to adapt to the.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. He's probably the most exciting signing this season so far for me. Big fan of him. Sign him on FIFA every year, man. He's brilliant.
Yeah. But also about Havertz, I mean, with him, coming into this Chelsea team as well, they're going to be loaded in attack. I know we've touched on it briefly, but Havertz, Werner. I think Greenwood's going to have a bit of a breakout year as well this year. Yeah. 7.5. Classed as a midfielder as well, so he'll get that extra point.
Yeah.
I mean, he got 10 goals last season, and he mainly just started after lockdown, really, when he was nailed on.
Yeah.
Obviously, Matthew started doing really well. Bruno chipped in, Martial.
Yeah.
And then Greenwood, got his bulk of his goals, after lockdown.
Yeah.
So he's going to be another big thing for this year.
Yeah, because I think he's a cheap way to get into the Man U, the Man U team. But obviously, you've got to just be careful that if they still do chase Sancho, he could lose a bit of game time. If they're trying to find Douglas Costa, is it? I mean, it's whether they actually do sign him or not. But he is a cheap option to getting in the Man U team. That's why I've got him in anyway.
Right. And so, Tony, your 3 predictions then. Who are you tipping to make it big? And we'll give you 5 weeks, hit or bust. And then, we'll even tally that up at the end of the year.
Yeah. Obviously, Willian, which we spoke about. I put Werner down. And this one, you're going to laugh at me here, right? But I can see good things coming for the Geordie side. I think Ryan Fraser's going to have a decent year. I really do.
Right. Oh, and why is that? Fans?
I just think most of the goals they're going to score are going to come from Fraser and Wilson. I think he's just going to rack up the assist all season long.
Yeah.
And for a nice little cheap option, like I've been able to strengthen my squad by going for Wilson and Fraser because they're pretty cheap. So
yeah,
he's not fantastic, is he? He's like
no.
a good player, but he's not fantastic. But I'm putting a bit of faith in him. He's going to get at least a month spell in the team, and that's my little prediction, my underdog prediction.
Yeah, I quite like that underdog prediction there. It's quite brave.
Yeah.
You know, as you said earlier, they have linked up well in previous seasons as well.
Definitely.
So, I mean,
everyone loves an underdog, man. Pookie last year called it. Tammy Abraham called it.
That's good. You didn't play it safe. I mean, when you said Burnett, I was thinking you were going to say something, quite relatively safe. I mean, with Fraser for this first week, I debated having him in. So, we'll see how that goes. He had a bit of a drop from last year. Obviously, Wilson, he was injured for the majority of that season, which may have played into, the fact that he didn't perform as well stats-wise anyway, compared to the season before where he had that, breakout year. But,
they just make each other better, don't they, when they're playing with each other? They make each other better. They're like best buds, man. Love it. Assist, goal. Oh, yeah.
Best buds. It's
like me. Top 10. There you go.
It's like me and you on the pitch.
Yeah. Best buds, man. Vice captain, captain.
So your official title. And so with that, just going to end it with a nice little fun game then. It's called the highest scorer game. Right. Between you two. We're going to take it in turns.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
I will say these two players. What I'll do then, Tony, if you want to pick first, and then we'll alternate.
So is this a high score from last season?
Highest score from last season, this is.
Right.
Oh, you're joking? Ryan's got the bloody stat list down there, hasn't
he? I got top 15, but I don't know in what order they were.
Tell you what, I could flip a coin, but I haven't got one on me. But
Tony can go first.
Right, okay. So, first question. Who scored higher? Son Heung-min or Riyad Mahrez?
Mahrez. A tight one, I think. Maybe one or two more.
Ryan?
I think Mahrez... I think Mahrez got 6 more. I think he got 185, I think. I think Son got like 1.
Told you he's got the stat list there.
Is that right?
Well, you're both right. It was Mahrez.
Right.
It was 6 more.
Yeah.
You did get 6 more, but it was 175, not 185.
Yeah. I had a look at the top 15 scorers. And I didn't know which order, but I knew they were somewhere, somewhere down there.
Right.
God.
Oh, it's unfair, isn't it? Right.
Should have stayed off the beer last night and done my revision.
Next question. Kagla Soyuncu or Harry Maguire? Ryan, you to go first.
What, most goals?
Most points from last
year. Points. Okay.
I'll go for... I'll go Harry Maguire.
Okay.
Nah, I'm going against him.
You got Soyuncu?
Yeah.
It was very tight. There's only 3 in it.
Oh, yeah.
But Harry Maguire came out on top.
Was he?
123 to 120.
Yeah, I thought it was close, but I was thinking all I was thinking was back end of the season. Man U were keeping quite a lot of clean sheets. I know they started off rubbish, but that was the only thing which it was. I don't know. It's flip of the coin with that one, really, isn't it?
Fair play.
2-1 to Ryan.
I'm in a mood for the full day if I lose this.
Question 3. Raul Jimenez or Raheem Sterling? Tony?
Most points?
Yeah.
Sterling.
Locked in?
Yeah, I think Sterling got a few more.
You both happy with that?
Yeah.
No, I'm changing. No, I'm sticking on it.
It was
Red
Raheem Sterling.
Yeah, did he get? Was it like 201 or something like that? 202.
204 he got. So Raul Jimenez is 194.
Ah, right, yeah. I thought.
Right, so Ryan's got all 3. Tony's on 2. Question 4.
Yeah.
Willy Bolly or Joe Gomez?
Oh, okay. I'll go. I'll go Gomez.
Gomez.
Both Gomez, yeah?
Yeah.
Surprisingly, it was Willy Bolly.
Was it? How many?
He was injured for about 6 years, wasn't he? How was that?
Yeah. Willy Bolly got 97. Joe Gomez got 93.
Ah, right, yeah. Was it
Fair one.
bit of a pun?
How many questions are there?
Just one more question. So Tony needs this.
Can I just go what Tony goes then?
I'm not having it. No, I want 2 more questions.
Ryan, you have to go first.
All right, yeah, go on then.
Right, just to make it fair. Last question. Mason Mount or Sergio Aguero?
Oh, Aguero's injured for quite a lot. Mount. Quite an interesting one, that. I mean, Aguero's injured for ages, but Aguero bangs. And Mount got off to a mint start and slowed down a bit. I'll go Mount.
Tony?
I was going to say Mount, but I'm going to have to just risk it on Aguero to win a point, aren't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've stitched me up a bit there, actually.
Oh, maybe we should have. Yeah, it had to happen that way, didn't it? But yeah, the winner, 137 points to 132, was Mason Mount.
Ridiculous, man. I'm not playing any more of these games, man.
To be honest,
Don't compete against a stat man.
Shut up.
You probably would have got that right, Tony, to be honest.
Yeah.
But you had to go for it, but unlucky. So 4-2.
It was a good game, that
one. 1-0 to Ryan in that one. And that
I'm definitely doing my revision next week.
get the revision in. Well, that concludes the first podcast. Thank you very much. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. It's bye from me.
Bye from me.
Thanks very much. See you next week.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.